Today I'm showing you the best software and apps for your 3D printer. From slicers that work on your phone to 3D scanning without a 3D scanner and simple everyday helpers, we've got everything today. Let's start right away with Bump Mesh, which was developed by Stefan from CNC Kitchen. Here you can upload your STL file and can apply any texture you can imagine. The advantage here is that if you want a cool texture, you no longer have to fall back on fuzzy skin, which, let's put it in this way, worked semi-well. Everything is open source, available in your browser, and you don't even need an account. The best thing is just to click a little bit through the settings, because then you will understand this app the best. Next up we have Lithophane Maker. Most of you know what lithophane is, but on this side we can do quite a lot of cool stuff with it. For those of you who have no idea what that is, here we can essentially 3D print a real photo in 3D. The special thing here is that the image only comes alive when you place a light behind it. On the side we can now choose from several designs. For example, this night lamp, and for me this is one of the coolest gifts you can print, because if you have a wife, kids, a girlfriend, you can do real personal presents. Here I can also show you a little trick so you don't have to give out your email. The problem is that on many sites you have to enter your email before you can download your model. So here's a trick. Just Google temp mail and here you get an email you can use for like 10 minutes. And the interesting part is that this email really works. So if you need to activate an account, you can do it. So this is just a nice trick, but my advice would be to just create a second email, which you can then use for things like that, where you don't want to get emails from. But let's say you actually want to 3D print an image that's always visible. There are several ways to do it, but the best way is to use a software called UForge. To get a better idea of what it looks like, you can simply go to Maker World, type in UForge, and you see a lot of cool designs. And with this software, you can create your own designs. Unfortunately, this software is not free. It costs 21 euros, but then it's yours, you don't have a subscription. And let's say if you use it for 2 years, you will only pay like $1 per month. So it's some money, but in a long-term perspective, it's very affordable. So UForge is turning your pictures into 3D models. Now let's move on to a few phone apps. Let's say you need a 3D scan, but you don't want to spend a lot of money on a 3D scanner. Then you can use Polycam, for example. Here you can simply take a few pictures of your 3D models and AI in this app will create a 3D model. I scanned my water bottle in under 2 minutes. It looks okay. But I can show you a few tricks because in the past I used it a lot. Ideally, you put the object on a natural background, for example, a sheet of paper. You should take around 40 to 60 photos. And then it looks actually pretty good. Another big thing is starting a 3D print from your phone. The normal way would be going to Maker World or Printables, download a G-code file and then send it to your 3D printer. But to be honest, I hate using G-code files from others and I don't trust them. So here's what you do. You can use the Prusa Slicer mobile app. It's so cool. And you don't need to have a Prusa printer. They make it open source, so you can use every printer, I think, except Bambu Lab, but it's Bambu Lab's fault, not Prusa's fault. And then you can slice your models from there. But you can just use simple features, so you have really good profiles. But if you want to create complex supports, you can't do it. But for simple everyday prints, it's genius. I use this feature so often because maybe I lie around in my bed, I want to start a 3D print, I can just use this app and I'm done. While we're on the topic, let's switch to AI slicers. So the idea is you have a chat in your slicer where you can basically type everything you want in there and the AI will make it. The company Obico makes a software called, I think, Jaspin. You can simply download it from their GitHub. That gives you Orca Slicer with this chat right here. I tried it a lot. But to be honest, the idea is 10 out of 10, but the execution is like 3 out of 10. I think there is a lot of potential. But there is a solution. I think you know the AI ChatGPT. There is also a second one called Claude. Claude is just ChatGPT, but better. So what I do a lot of times is I upload an image from what I want to print to Claude, and then I ask him, so what settings should I change? For example, in the last days, I printed a watering can. I asked Claude, what should I do? And it gave me a lot of settings I should change. I changed them and my print was watertight. But this whole thing is a lot more complex than you think. I will try to break it down. I talked to the German Prusa marketing guy. And I asked him, hey, why don't you include this feature to Prusa Slicer? It would be so cool. And he gave me an interesting answer, because if you want to do something like that, you need a lot of data. That means that all the things you slice would go to the company so they can learn a lot from that. And this is the thing right here, you don't really want to do it. I mean, you know what I mean, data security and things like that. This is also the things with like every Chinese printer have a camera inside, but you need to know that these companies can use these images to train their models and maybe like other stuff. I'm just saying it here. But let's say you have an idea but you can't find the right models anywhere. Then Meshi AI will help you. Meshi sponsored this video, but I would have included it anyway. AI keeps getting better and Meshi released a new feature called Auto Split. It automatically cuts your models into several parts that are all sealed watertight. So you can, for example, print a giant figure on a small printer. So there is also the so-called 3D agent, which will help you to create your own 3D model step by step. So you just type in what you need and Meshi will create a 3D model from it. They also work along with companies like Bambulab to deliver the best results. Of course, AI still don't replace a professional CAD designer. If you need practical, precise print, you should always use Fusion 360, for example. But for decoration, figures and vases, this tool is amazing. Also, with the code YOSH01, you can get 60% off. You can simply click on the GIF icon and enter the code. For everyone who wants to try it, check out the first link in the description. The next tool finally helps you to get an overview over your filament. The website 3dprintprofiles.com makes it pretty easy. It's basically the largest community data bank for 3D print filament. It's over 29,000 filaments from more than 1,000 brands are listed here, with parameters, color values and more. With My Spools you can manage your own filament inventory, so which spools you have, where they're stored, and share color cards with others. They also have a hardware section with printers, AMS systems and compatibility info. The whole thing is community based, so you can also share your things with others. The next software is for the Gridfinity fans among you. I mean, Gridfinity is so cool, but creating your own bins can be so annoying. So there is this cool tool. You just put your object on a piece of paper and you can take an image. The AI from the software will create your own custom bin. It's pretty cool. Sometimes it works really well and on other days it won't. But before you design it yourself, just try this tool out, maybe it will work. Another interesting question is, how much money will my 3D print actually cost? So there is this tool out there, 3D printing costcalculator.com. Here you just put in your data, like how much you paid for filament, electricity and so on, and you get a really good number. I think this software is for companies, small shops, but I think for private users it's also extremely interesting. The thing is, that was a lot of information and I would love to know which softwares do you use. And if you want to learn more about TPU, check out this video. Thanks for watching.